I mean, he had interim titles, but this is just straight up all Justin and his hard punches. And I stumbled across this article today, and I just I couldn't not say anything about it. This was really gross to read, and overall the event was good. There was a scare of a rain being a factor, but it really wasn't a factor of like the heat outside. Definitely played a factor for guys like Derek Lewis. But overall, I mean, it was really cool. It was a cool event. You had the flyover. It felt good. The other really cool thing was the live music. So like they have like walkout songs for the guys, obviously, right? Like it's almost like it's a thing. Like you pick your song to walk out to. Well, they didn't have music, so they had like the military's like band play, and they were awesome. They were so cool. Like any type of music that you can think of, they had somebody on there. There was a lady specifically who was singing for the main event fights, and she was just crazy good. It was a really cool atmosphere. But this article is just like, why? Like it feels like this person doesn't like fighting and just wrote an article about fighting. Like I wouldn't go try a bunch of cupcakes and then write about cupcakes because I don't like cupcakes that much. But anyways, this guy goes, I swear I'll end on a good note, I promise. But Trump's MMA extravaganza, I can't read. I need to learn how to read better. Trump's MMA extravaganza was the ultimate symbol of our dark American moment. What dark moment? Like so many moments in the second Trump administration, the Ultimate Fighting Championships Freedom 250 event on Sunday night began with money flowing to the presidential allies. The night of mixed martial arts bouts, which were staged on the White House South Lawn, was billed by President Trump's cabinet as a gift to the American people. However, the public was only able to watch it with a subscription to Paramount Plus, the streaming arm of the media conglomerate owned by billionaire Trump backer Larry Eisen. Okay, so we pay... I'm going to pick apart this article real fast. I'm sorry, but... The public was only able to watch it with a subscription to Paramount Plus. Pause there. Yeah, it's cheaper. It's way cheaper for everybody, first off. Second of all, a lot of people have Paramount for other things. Landman's on there. People that watch Landman, you can only watch on there. Is there an article about Landman on here by this guy on how it's on Paramount Plus? Secondly, a regular pay-per-view fight was $79 and sometimes more. Paramount Plus is $100 and something for the year. So it has nothing. This is just like a horrible start. Horrible start. What's next? As TPM's resident martial arts conglomerate, I dutifully ponied up my subscription fee and tuned in for more than the 5-hour spectacle. That's a really, really fancy way of saying you're a cheap fuck. The required payment to Paramount was just one of many ways the event pulled viewers in the swampy mix of business deals and presidential power that has been a hallmark of the Trump era. He wanted to do something no president has done before and has never happened before, and he did it. Overall, the evening exemplified the new flavors of American life and power. By the time the last punch landed and the blood wiped away, the night included suspicious stiff-armed salutes, transphobic insults, and fresh allegations of sexual assault, as well as pitches for Silicon Valley AI crypto prediction markets and the Saudi regime. Wow. Wait until you see this stiff-arm salute. Yeah, you're not going to believe that. And yeah, UFC has sponsors, and they've had Crypto.com for years. Prediction markets like Polymark, I didn't see them one time, and if it was a commercial, isn't that on Paramount? And the Saudi regime, because they own part of the UFC. Transphobic insults was one guy who just made a silly comment. Like, it wasn't even like meant to like be a statement. Crazy. Anyways, Freedom 250 took place on Trump's 60th birthday, and was reportedly fully funded by the UFC. Yeah, like Crypto.com, who pays them advertise money. It also gave the president an opportunity to personally cash in. The broadcast consistently featured ads for RealTrumpCoins.com, a venture from the president's licensing company that is selling UFC-branded medallions purportedly authorized and endorsed, designed by Donald Trump himself. This official President Trump gold and silver, which cost between $249.99 and $11,999.99, was adorned with the president's face. Okay, that wasn't even brought up one time during the event. Like, it was commercials. Again, it was just commercials. Okay, who cares? Don't buy it. This near perfect microcosm of MAGA. Okay, that wasn't me not reading right. That was just me being shocked by the sentence. This near perfect microcosm of MAGA excess and corruption was the latest chapter of the long-standing relationship between the global right wing and martial arts. For Trump, that history has included decades of earning cash from boxing and wrestling, multiple figures in his two administrations whose careers include combat sports and pro wrestling, a deep association with the manosphere that has evolved from the MMA world, and even some family members who are stepping into the ring. Trump's FBI director, Kash Patel, also made his own murky deal with the UFC. That's all they say about that, by the way. They just make one sentence and whatever with Kash Patel, but like, why? Just shots fired, catching strays. Along with all of that, there is also a strong relationship between Elijah's media empire and Trump, so Paramount and Trump. Last July, just before the mogul purchased Paramount, the company made a questionable $16 million payment to the president. The following month, Paramount unveiled a multi-billion-dollar exclusive streaming deal with the UFC. And as this was all unfolding, Elijah and his son pushed the company's CBS News arm sharply to the right, as Trump began floating the idea of fights on the White House lawn. The weekend of the events in Washington began with a report from the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation on Saturday that one of the event's headliners, heavyweight Alex Poatan Pereira, had been accused of abuse by two women. This is old news, actually. This is like 2 or 3 years old. This isn't like just happening. Pereira has denied the allegations. The CBS coverage was based on court records and depositions reviewed by the network. It made Pereira the latest of several MAGA-aligned figures, including the president himself, to face accusations of sexual assault. Why? Why are we talking like this? I have to see now. In the deposition, he denied using AirTags to track her, but did admit to secretly recording her when they argued, which sounds reasonable if it's like so crazy that you feel like you have to. And why would he be recording if he did something wrong? I don't know. Just a weird thing to bring up. I feel like that wasn't really that much of a story. Like, he's making, like, this whole section was about him. I feel like that wasn't even like a story going into the event. But at the White House, Pereira was defeated by Cyril Gane by TKO in the second round after weathering a series of overpowering strikes. There were 7 bouts on the Trumpian card, and for the first time in UFC history, each of the fights on the card ended in a knockout or TKO. Along with the knockdowns, the fight featured a notable political attack. Okay, this is the part where they talk about Michelle Obama. The conversation, it was a one-liner on the way out of the interview. He was just like making a comment. He was like, haha, and Michelle Obama's a man. After defeating the heavyweight Derek Lewis, whose event announcers repeatedly referred to by his nickname, the Black Beast. Why is that a problem? That's his nickname. That's his chosen nickname. Josh Hokic attacked former UFC. Josh Hokic attacked former First Lady Michelle Obama in a post-fight interview with podcaster and UFC broadcaster Joe Rogan. Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America? He shouted. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Hokic, Joe Rogan said. So that was it. That was the whole interaction. Almost all the bouts featured at least one American combatant. The audience, which included a large contingent of military service members, generally cheered for the countrymen with chants of USA. One of the Americans who received this treatment was Sean O'Malley, who had announced that he planned on hitting a little salute to Trump. In this lead up to his bout, after O'Malley defeated the Canadian Ayman Zahabi, he repeatedly made a gesture that started with a typical salute, hand to the forehead, and ended with his arm straight forward at an angle. The move sparked debate online on whether it was intended to resemble a Nazi salute. At one point, O'Malley, who has a history of alleged racism, delivered the salute directly in front of his president. The UFC and the White House did not respond to questions from TPN about the gesture, apparent similar to the fascist salute, which also has been featured of Trump's... oh my God. Let me reread that sentence because that was bad. The UFC and the White House did not respond to questions from TPM about the gesture's apparent similarity to the fascist salute, which has also been a feature of Trump's MAGA movement. I don't think it really has. And also, here's something cool. His wife's Spanish. Sean's wife is Spanish. And here's the salute. He got a knockout, and then as soon as he knocked him out, he went like that. And then that was just like, I don't know how that's a Nazi salute. That's insane. Some of the most notable symbols displayed during the event came on the ring itself. The UFC signature octagon was festooned with ads for the Silicon Valley weapons manufacturer Anduril, Meta AI, multiple gambling and cryptocurrency ventures, including one owned by the Trump family, and a festival in Riyadh that has been criticized as part of the Saudis regime's sports washing attempts to paper over their human rights abuses. The display of these ads for questionably ethical enterprises at the White House grounds would seem to be a clear violation of regulations against the use of public office to promote or endorse commercial enterprises. Of course, under those Trump regulations, along with various other prohibitions against the president profiting from his office, seems to have been knocked out. By the end of Freedom 250, along with all the ads, the octagon was covered in blood after Ilia Topuria suffered a brutal beating by the hands of Justin Gaethje. According to the ringside commentators, the ringside doctor tried to stop the fight but was overhauled. Afterwards, the announcers reported that Topuria had been taken to the hospital, and they speculate he had suffered orbital fractures. With the White House fully turned into a venue for blatant profiteering and sneering gladiatorial spectacle, it was clear that the fighter's face wasn't the only thing that had been broken. It was a sports event on the front lawn. Why don't you freaking relax there? Hunter Walker? What do you think Hunter Walker looks like? Let's see what Hunter Walker looks like. Ah, yeah. Before covering politics, Walker worked for Hollywood, where he was employed by The Daily and helped launch a gossip section with former Page Six editor Richard Johnson. Walker also covered the television industry in The Wrap. Yeah, so this is a disgusting article, honestly. Like, gross. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this article.
Man, I'm going to tell, nah. I would say fuck them kids, but